Which of these will you choose? The pain of discipline or the pain of regret? The pain of discipline, the pain of facing your fears, the pain of doing things that might take you out of your comfort zone, but ultimately will fulfill you more than staying in the same box that you've always been in? Or do you want to choose the pain of regretting never even trying, regretting never even taking the first step? You know that you have so much knowledge that you can offer to other people. Maybe not knowledge, but however you can give value to other people. You know you can do it. Let's just say you know that you have something on your heart that you want to share. Would you rather have the pain 3, 5 years down the line, maybe longer at the end of your life if you never do it? Would you rather have the pain of regretting never sharing that information, never seeing what could have been, never seeing how your life could transform? Would you rather have that pain of regret, or would you rather feel the pain of discipline in terms of making yourself do the thing that you're too afraid to do right now? And that's the crazy thing about it, though. It's like, it seems like it would be more painful to be disciplined and to do these things on a consistent basis and to actually just at least take the first step. It seems like that would be the hardest thing, but it's actually harder to sit there with it and to never share it. And this is coming from someone who has overcome my pain of regret for a while, where I was not wanting to share anything on YouTube. I was too scared of what other people would think about it. I was, just doubting myself. Will it be good enough? I don't have it all figured out. And as many of you know who've been here for a while, I didn't have it all figured out. But that in itself is helpful to other people, because people can see your journey of growth. People can see you stepping out of that box even when you don't have it all figured out, because our perception of ourselves is often different from how other people perceive us, and what we perceive as not good, or if you're being a perfectionist, oh, this isn't good enough to put out. Someone might have their life changed from that. So think about it this way: is what you're holding back something that could seriously impact someone's life and change their life, because they might be going through the same thing that you've gone through? Think about how many people you could impact, people down the line that you could impact that may not even be alive right now, and they see something you said from a long time ago. This doesn't just pertain to YouTube, but I'm just saying, if you have something that you want to do, as someone who's lived in both the state of the fear of regret and the fear of discipline, having that pain recently on my channel of me not being disciplined enough, not being at a state in my life where I felt like I could share YouTube videos as frequently as I'd want to. And that pain of regret is way worse. I think, how far along would I be if I had been uploading consistently and had the same passion that I had when I started? I've got that back again, and I always lose it and regain it. But I'm in community college, doing something that I hate, doing something that I know is going to lead me nowhere, and it's held me back from actually delivering the messages that I feel that I should be delivering, and doing something that I know will change my life down the road. And you could be in that same situation. You could be in a job that you hate. Do you want to stay there, or do you want to take that leap? Yes, it's not going to be easy. There's going to be difficult times. There's going to be times when you don't want to do something small that's going to take you to where you want to go, but you have to push through and take that step. And there's a quote by Kobe Bryant that I've posted on my Instagram and YouTube recently, on the YouTube community tab, and on Instagram, follow me, Universal Crystals 1111. But it's a long quote and I don't have it in front of me, so I'm going to try and summarize it the best I can. Basically, he's saying the times when you don't want to work, the times when you make yourself do something, you stay up late, you get up early, and you do something that you don't necessarily want to do in that moment, but you know that it will propel you into the best version of yourself. When you do that, that is actually the dream. That's the dream. The dream is the journey. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. And if you can understand that, pretty much you will see, your dreams won't come true, but something greater will. I would also like to just add that I'm not saying you should be out of alignment doing something that you hate doing just because you feel like that's what you're supposed to do. And you need to work hard and grind and do it just for the sake of doing it because you think that's what you're supposed to do. What I'm saying is, even when you're doing something that you love, there will be normally some small aspects of that that you might not necessarily love so much, but you know that in order to do what you love, you have to do those things. So for me, an example would be editing YouTube videos. It's not my favorite thing in the world to do. I don't mind editing. It's enjoyable sometimes. But, it can become a grind, editing all these videos. But I know that if I'm editing a video, I'm going to be putting out something of value to the world, and I'm going to be one step closer to doing what I love full time. So that's just an example. But I'm by no means saying to do something that doesn't feel authentic to you and working super hard at that. Because if you're doing what you love, you'll be willing to do those things that you might not enjoy as much just because it's what you love doing. And when you're doing things from a place of presence, it becomes even easier. The key is to actually learn how to do those mundane tasks that you don't want to do and make them meditation. Make them into something where you're doing it from a place of presence. You're not in your head about why this sucks, right? So it's like the old saying about before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. And what that means is even when you're enlightened, right? You don't have to be enlightened, don't worry. But I'm just saying, when you're in that state, it's not like you don't have to do the simple tasks that you have to do to live, such as chopping wood and carrying water. Okay, maybe you don't have to chop wood and carry water now. You get what I'm saying? It's like you might have to drive somewhere. You might have to do an assignment, or, even if you're doing your passion, you might have to do some type of ad, or might have to do some type of research on video titles that you may not be that interested in, but you're doing it from a place of presence. So you're chopping wood and carrying water even in the enlightened state, and you're making things that you don't enjoy, at least maybe not enjoyable, but I don't know the right word for it. You're just present. You're just doing it. And you're just there in the moment. And when you're always in the moment, you feel at a higher state. You're in a higher vibration. So work hard, don't get me wrong, but don't work hard at something that you completely know is not in alignment with you, and you can feel it. You can feel it. And you can also feel when you should be doing something. I don't want to say should, but you want to do something, but you're not doing it just because of those other blocks. So be careful about that. Decide whether or not you're just telling yourself that you shouldn't do it, or if it's really just that block of fear that you have to get over that will ultimately lead you to ultimate freedom. Once you take that first step and you start doing it and you build momentum on doing it, those little tasks won't even mean anything to you anymore because you're doing what you love. Appreciate it, guys. I love you all. Universal Crystals forever.